All right, all right. It is the David Washington Show. Your favorite political innovator is back with a dear friend and author, Robert Montgomery. Robert, welcome back. Before we start, I just want to say a little bit about you and let my audience be reminded about you. Robert is the author of the Nonprofit Management book. There you go. A Guide for Nonprofit Leaders, Robert Montgomery. And what we'll be discussing today, his newest book, The Book of Love by Robert Montgomery. A little bit about the Book of Love. The Book of Love is a reflective and practical guide that blends personal experience, spiritual insight, and relational wisdom to uncover the true nature of love and how it shapes our lives. It explores love as more than chemistry or fleeting passion, grounding it instead in self awareness, healing past wounds, shared values, and the spiritual maturity required to give and receive love fully. Through stories of heartbreak, growth, and discovery, the book examines the challenges of modern relationships, including social media distractions, dysfunctional patterns, and unmet childhood needs, while offering tools for discernment, communication, and resilience. Ultimately, the book reveals that lasting love requires both passion and compatibility, nurtured by intentional choices and daily practices, so that individuals can prepare for, find, and keep the kind of love that not only fulfills them personally, but also brings life and joy to those around them. Please welcome Robert Montgomery. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you for coming back, Rob. I know that you spent time here in Orlando recently. It was good to see you. And you brought a copy of your book for me. I really appreciate it. And I took a peek at it, and I started having questions immediately. And we started talking. But what was profound to me was what you described are three personalities. And I'd like to just jump right into it. Can you tell us about the three personalities?
Sure. So my theory, and just a little backstory to this, David, is I went through baptism by the fire. My life is this, life journey to find love is this book. As you know, I was married for 20 years, but I was not in love when I got married. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even have the desire to be in love until I was about 36 years old, which was 10 years after the fact of me being married. And we tried to, we were really great, compatibly wise, but we just weren't in love with each other. And so that started my journey is, I wanted to find out, well, what is this love stuff and how do you fall in love? So this book follows my marriage, the first time I fell in love, which was at the age of 45 years old. Shortly after that, I got my heart broken. And that's really the motivation of me trying to figure out, well, what is this love thing? Because once I fell in love and I experienced it, I made the decision that I didn't want to live the rest of my life without it, even though it was potentially, it's probably the most hardest thing to do. And the heartbreak is probably the worst feeling on this planet. So to risk that, the reward of love is worth risking heartbreak, in my opinion. So to answer your question, I came up with this theory. I've been dating for 10 years and I fell in love twice. And I realized that there's three people who live inside of our bodies. First of all, we're a physical being. We're the scientists basically call us animals, and we have animalistic instincts. So that part of
creatures. I'm sorry. Biological creatures.
There we go. We're biological creatures, and we have desires, we have needs, just like any other animal running around. The thing with our animalistic part of us is that it only is concerned with survival and pleasure. So, and everything that goes on with our body is extremely temporary. So, my theory in this book is that if you fall in love with someone, you're going to fall in love with them with all three people. The other two people is your spiritual self, which isn't temporary at all. It's the part of you that lasts forever. Now, some
Okay.
people think that after we pass away, we die. That's the end of us. But most of us on this planet believe that there's an afterlife. And the spiritual part of us is the part that's going to live on forever. So, my theory is that's the only part of us that really truly understands love, because love transcends this world. Love is what we believe, you and me, David, is that God is love. And that's the part of us that God, when he said, I'm going to make them in my image, it's not that we look like him, it's that we're spirits too, just like he is. And our spirit, to its core, is love. That's the part of us that really understands love the most, but it's the part of us that we understand the least. And so the book really challenges the reader to try to figure out or find out as much about your spiritual self as you possibly can, because that's the part of you that needs to fall in love with the person you're falling in love with. Because if it's just the physical person, it's going to be temporary. You're going to want to do things for this person, like the Bible describes love, or you can describe love. But however you describe love, the physical part of you will only be motivated to do that for a little while, depending, give or take time. Some people be better than others, some people be worse than others. But physically, your physical self will give up on the love, and it's going to have to constantly be reminded to do the love things. But your spiritual self, that if that falls in love with someone, you don't have to keep reminding your spiritual self to do the love things or to feel the love things. So the third part of us is the dysfunctional person. And that's the part of us that if you're a psychologist, I'm a bootleg psychologist, so I kind of understand it. It's, some people call it a critical inner voice. Some people call it our conscious. Some people, there's something inside of us that we create when we're children that helps us cope with disappointment, with abuse. All of us as children had some type of trauma. Some of us way more than others. There's a scale from 0 to 10. None of us are a 0. Most of us are somewhere in the middle. Whether it's the disappointment of you're a middle child and you feel like your parents love your other siblings more than you, or it could be as severe as an uncle molesting you. It could be mild or severe, but my theory is based on the severity of your childhood trauma is the influence of this third person. And maturity really is what we need to overcome it. But now that we're adults, this third person, we really don't need it. But because it's been with us our whole lives, we trust it more than we trusted anybody else. But it tells us to do things that really protect us from love rather than embracing love. So if we fall in love with someone through our dysfunctional self, there's going to be a lot of abuse in the relationship. There's going to be a lot of distrust. There's going to be a lot of crazy things going on in the relationship that make you feel like it's love, but it's not really love the way the spiritual part of you knows how to love. I don't know if all that makes sense, but that's it in a nutshell, David.
Well, Rob, let's break it down, and let's break down the dysfunctional
Mhm.
self uh, first, and because I think that's the most intriguing. However, I also believe that it's the psyche of the self that we as individuals uh, identify with the most, as you were saying.
Mhm.
Given so much has gone on in our world, how does this manifest itself? The childhood traumas or the early years of trauma manifests itself in our relationships?
So typically, a very popular thread thing that's out there now is if you run into a woman who's in a relationship with an abusive man, and the first question in your mind is why would you stick around? Why do you feel like this person loves you? And it's because the love that she feels, or the connection that she has with this person, is through her dysfunctional self. So she actually believes that this is love, but it takes a level of maturity to recognize that that's my dysfunctional self. I can't get rid of it, but I can't allow it to dictate how I fall in love and who I fall in love with. A lot of people voice their frustration that, man, I keep falling in love with the same type of person. Why is this happening over and over and over again? Because they're allowing this dysfunctional part of them to feed their whole relationship world. It's like a mad dog that you have tied up in the basement. You got to keep it tied up in the basement. You feed it, you pet it, you take care of it, but it has its place. It's not, you can't let it upstairs and let it run wild in the house. You got to keep it in its place. It produces a lot of fear. It produces a lot of emotion, and those emotions and those fears can be misconstrued as deep, passionate love, but it's not. It's a product of dysfunction. And the more a person matures, usually maturity comes with age, but the more a person matures, they can recognize that that's not love. That is something I think it feels like love, but it's not love. So let me explore this spiritual love that Dr. Love is talking about, and see how that feels, because they'll see a huge difference in the two of them.
Rob, is it possible to understand or be spiritually in love
Hmm.
if you're unable to reduce the dysfunction in the dysfunctional self?
I don't think it's possible. I'm not God. I didn't create the human body. I didn't create the human psyche. So I don't know for sure. But from my personal experience, I don't think I think it takes a certain level of maturity to really understand the spiritual part of yourself in the first place. So as long as we operate on a low maturity level, the only thing that makes sense to us is our dysfunctional self. But it takes an enlightenment, and I think therapy helps people to mature. I think close friendships with mature people helps people to mature. Life itself should help us to mature, but it sometimes it doesn't. But it takes a certain level of maturity to even recognize your dysfunctional self as something that's not good.
Robert, is there a hierarchy in the different levels of self in the concept of love that you discussed?
I'm not, like I said before, I'm a bootleg psychologist.
Sure.
Um, Meaning I don't have the award, I don't have the degrees on my wall, I don't know all of the correct terms, but I'm sure that psychologists have studied this they have studied this for years, and they have, like you said, come up with different scales of um, different levels of enlightenment.
Awareness. Sure.
Yeah.
So let's get a little deeper into the book of love, uh,
Hmm.
but more from your perspective, because it is about your experiences and your where you've been able to obtain a sense of love and what you've done with it. What is the most powerful lesson that you've learned in what you said has been two instances that you were in love? What
Hmm.
was the what were the powerful lessons learned?
Well, let's talk about three, because even though I wasn't in love with my ex-wife,
Okay.
that's where my journey started. So the
Okay.
lesson I learned through my marriage was that no matter how compatible you are with a person, if there's no love, um, it's probably not going to work correctly. We were very compatible. We raised two awesome kids. We were a very good team when it came to managing the household. My job was to bring home the bacon. My ex-wife, she stayed at home. She homeschooled our children, which was a hard decision because in modern times, living on one income is pretty tough. And but it created a really awesome home life that was that provided a great foundation for our children. So we have two. I mean, my sons are two of the most awesome people that I know, and I believe that's part of that is because they grew up in a household that had a strong foundation. So what I learned there is that compatibility is very important, but love was the missing ingredient. So coming out of that, I was very naive to think that love was more important than compatibility. Now, in my last relationship, I learned we were deeply in love with each other, but we were not compatible. And so what I learned in that is that no matter how much you're in love with somebody, compatibility is it takes away all of the chaos, because even though I wasn't in love with my ex-wife, our life was not chaotic. We just didn't have passion for each other. We just didn't have that missing ingredient for each other. And so looking back, which one is better? Somebody asked me that, which one is better, to have compatibility without love or to have love without compatibility? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a balanced life, if you're looking for peace, compatibility is what brings you balance and peace all day long.
Mm,
Now, if you've been in love, if you've tasted love before, David, it's very hard to imagine life without it. So if passion is what you're looking for, and you don't really care about peace or chaos, then by all means fall in love on the spiritual level and not have compatibility. Your life will be chaotic, but you will have that passion that you're looking for. Ideally, you want both. It's like
sure.
getting on an airplane that has two wings rather than one wing. Obviously, a, a airplane with one wing, it cannot fly. But
Right.
if you want the optimal experience on an airplane, you're going to have two wings. So it depends on the person's opinion, which one is more important. But I think both of them are important, to be honest with you.
Well, and there's so much to unpack from what you stated in the biblical, type of love or the responsibilities of a man and his wife as his helpmeet, and the roles that play in the household, and having that balance. There's another piece to unpack. Having peace also
Hmm.
is something that I love to unpack, and then that chaos. mm, is something else I'd love to unpack with you. And I think more importantly, and this is going back to the balance part, having passion, uh, that what I describe, that eagerness to wake up and see the person that you love, the woman that you love, laying next to you, that you're bonded together, that you're one, that you're wedded, and that this is the path that you both are taking, and then having that balance of both that passion and of that peace, and the regularities of life. There's so much to unpack, Rob, and to discuss. And I'm sure we're going to have a part two, a part three, a part four,
Okay.
uh, in regards to what we're talking about in the book of love. What is important to you? Is balance, having your peace, passion, a little chaos, um, important, or is it does it change at where you are right now in your life versus when you first got married and had a family and children?
Well, like I said before, I want them both, David. That's what I'm looking for is them both. And the chaos doesn't come with love. The chaos is just the absence of compatibility.
Okay.
So um, neither one of them brings chaos, but chaos comes if you guys aren't on the same page and you live in two different types of lives. There's going to be a lot of friction in that relationship, and so that's what I meant by chaos. But to answer your question, I'm looking for both. And somebody asked me, well, if you can't have both, which one would you prefer? And I really don't have an answer for them because I don't want a situation where I have to choose one or the other. I want both of them. Um, that might mean I die alone. I don't know, but
Mhm.
I definitely want both.
Rob, as we wrap up, because I know you're busy and I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I like the fact that you have agreed to come back
Mhm.
for part two. There's so much to unpack here and discuss. A very intelligent conversation. Um, to take what you just said in closing about finding ultimately what you want in love and being comfortable with being alone, do you believe or do you think or do you know that many people, many men of our age, of our stature in life, of our station in life, and women of our age, our stature is station in life, are coming to those terms, understanding that perhaps compatibility is out of reach, and that you know being alone is the substitute.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you look at the numbers, people just aren't getting married like they used to. And a
Mhm.
lot of people who are getting married aren't staying together. So the numbers don't lie. People are figuring this out on their own that finding love is hard. Finding the right person is hard. And I've
Mhm.
heard people say, well, you can make somebody the right person. That might be true. We'll see. If that was true, then I think the numbers would be the divorce rate would be a lot lower because people would be making whoever they're with the right person. But we live in a society where we have choices and we feel a sense of freedom. So we're free to do whatever we want. If we don't want to be in a relationship that we don't feel like is working for us, many of us just don't. So
Right, right. Rob, in closing, to add to what you just said, are there some final words you'd like to leave with our viewers and listeners in anticipation for part two of the Book of Love?
yeah. So I appreciate you bringing me on and talking about the book. There's a lot in the book. It's a small book, but there's a lot packed into it. So I just want your readers to know that it's available on Amazon. Wherever you post this, if you don't mind sending the link to the book in the post,
I
but you can
will.
you can purchase this, read it. If you have the what is that, Kindle Unlimited, you can read it whenever you want to for free. So read it. It's a quick read. It's a good read, and it's really from my heart.
Well, Rob, I really appreciate it. This has been great. And like you said, before we started the program, the 15, 20 minutes do go by really fast. And I look forward to the next time that we do meet to talk about the Book of Love. And I really appreciate it. And to our viewers, this is my friend and author, Robert Montgomery, AKA Dr. Love. And Robert is a storyteller and thinker who has spent years reflecting on the mysteries of love, heartbreak, and human connection. So, Thank you for being a part of today's show. Let us know what you think. We love to hear your comments. Let's have a tactful conversation. And please make comments, send us messages. If you have questions for Dr. Love, perhaps we can discuss those questions or those comments in part two. I see that we'll have at least a part two and maybe a part three even. So please pick up the book, The Book of Love by Robert Montgomery. And again, if you believe this content was useful, helpful, entertaining, thoughtful, intelligent conversation, please share with your family members, your friends, those influencers in the wild that you know, and anyone you think who would become a better person from our content here on the David Washington Show and across the Jay Washington Network. Thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you, Robert. Love you, man. This has been great. We'll see everyone the next time. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
You bet. God bless.